want to see if I can cram an entire fantasy dungeon in one 5x7-inch postcard. Okay, if you are watching this video around when it is released, I have my online shop on sale 25% off. Black Friday through Cyber Monday. It's the only time of year I put my online shop on sale. I've just added my latest book, Flick Silverpin's Guide to Miraculous Markets. It's a collection of a bunch of magical items that are all food-based. I've got a couple of new stickers, a cursed sword, and a dungeon orc. I've restocked the Dungeon Master enamel pins, and all the stuff that's usually on the site is there, 25% off. Okay, so why am I trying to fit an entire dungeon onto one postcard? Well, it actually has to do with my online shop. Basically, I just want to give everyone who orders from me something special, just a nice free gift. So let me show you. This is my humble closet where I keep all of my inventory and where I ship everything out of this little tiny closet in my home studio. So every month I make a new TTRPG zine. Sometimes it's an adventure, sometimes it's a drawing guidebook, sometimes it's an entire game inspired by the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. And whenever I get an order, I come into my closet and I grab an envelope, pack everything up. I actually already include this free skeleton sticker, but I just appreciate these orders so much. I get to make my living creating this stuff, and I want to return the appreciation and make ordering from me just feel as cool as possible. Just as a big thank you, here is a free one-shot dungeon for you to run. Check out all the fun stuff in my online shop. Link is in the description. Okay, let's actually make this dungeon now. So I started off in Google Docs and I just typed up this one-page dungeon. I kind of made this arbitrary rule for myself that I had to keep it on a single Google Doc page, and hopefully that will shrink down into a 5x7 postcard. As I was writing, it was really hard not to add a ton of fun details and flesh this dungeon out into a whole big thing, but I'm just trusting that anyone who orders from me knows how to make stuff even more awesome when they run this dungeon. Okay, so the text is gonna go on the back of the postcard, and this map I'm sketching out is gonna be on the front. I'm just using my gridded sketchbook and a pencil and erasing when things need to be reworked. And once I have a good idea of what this dungeon is gonna look like, then I jump into inking with a couple of Faber-Castell Pitt Artist pens. If you're curious about the tools that I use for this stuff, I'll have links in the description. I'm using the size M pen for the outlines of the walls, and even going over them again to make them extra thick lines. And then I'll go back in and add the details with the fine size pen, size F pen. I think it's okay that all the lines are kind of wobbly and wonky looking, because the story of this place is it's this keep that was overlooking a bunch of farmland, kind of protecting the area, but it's since been ruined by constant rainfall. So I actually came up with this whole story using Cloud Curio's Agnostic Zine. There's a link to that video showing the whole process of writing this dungeon that's popping up right now. So yeah, the story of this ruined keep is there is an everlasting cloud, rain cloud above these fields that's just pouring down rain. It used to be farmland, but now it's this bog. And Sentinel Keep sits at the middle of it. There's a little bit of a mystery going on, and maybe a very powerful giant red gemstone hidden in the middle of this keep. I like all of my adventures to have some sort of mystery happening for the players to uncover as they explore. And I also like to have a few weird NPCs and enemies for the players to fight as well. So I'm doing a few of these extra teeny tiny 1-inch character drawings as sort of like spot illustrations that'll maybe fit on the back of this postcard. I definitely like to fit as much art as possible into the stuff that I make, especially with something like this, because even a tiny little spot illustration will convey so much to the story. Pictures worth 1,000 words kind of thing. So once I'm done with all of the drawing, I don't even bother scanning my drawings anymore. I just take a picture with my phone. You got to be a little bit careful with DPI and stuff, but I bring it into Photoshop, scale it up to the proper size, clean up the line work, and then start coloring the map. Now, I've made my own custom color palette, so all of my zines that I make each month kind of have the same matching color palette. So this postcard looks good with all of the other stuff that you might order from the shop. Now, my initial idea for this is that it's in the middle of a bog. You know, the farmlands have changed into this stinking, humid bog. So I started playing with green colors, but for some reason it just didn't feel right, and I ended up going with blue. For some reason that feels soggier to me. And speaking of soggy, I actually changed the name of this little adventure from the drowned ruins of Sentinel Keep to the soggy ruins of Sentinel Keep. I think it just makes it a little less serious and a little more fun. And this is a good example of how I really like to work. Each step on this process, from writing to drawing to coloring, layout, I make little adjustments, I change things, I fix stuff up, and my hope is that by the end, when it's all done and finished, I've created something that is easy and helpful to use and fun to play. For the back of the card, I have done the layout in Adobe InDesign. I play with the type and get everything so it fits. You know, I had to make the type pretty small, but it's not too cramped, so everything fits on the postcard. And then I just take a screenshot of my InDesign layout, paste it back into Photoshop on a transparent layer, and then I draw the art kind of underneath or on top. Really, I'm just adding solid blocks of color and dropping in a few of these little character spot illustrations. Once the artwork is done, I hide that transparent screenshot, flatten it, save it as a TIFF, and bring it back into InDesign. I put the artwork underneath the type, and then I play with the type a little bit more just to make sure it all fits and is spaced nicely. Then I save it as a high-res PDF and send it to Mixam, my printer. And then 2 weeks later, I get myself a package full of 500 postcards. So let's open this thing up and see how they look. Okay, don't get too excited here with the sharp scissors. I'm so excited, I'm singing to myself. They look pretty stinking good. They look great, actually. The one really good thing about using the same color palette over and over again is that I kind of know how the colors are going to turn out. Everything's fitting on the back of the postcard perfectly. It's actually not too small to read. I chose a different typeface than I usually use, and the smaller works great. I know I say it so often, but there's just something so satisfying when you just have an idea in your head and then you spend the time to flesh it out and make it real, and you actually get it printed so it becomes this real thing that you can hand to somebody, give to your friends, or throw in with an order from your online shop. It's just so satisfying and rewarding, and I just love making stuff. 500 postcards. Yes. Okay, I had so much fun making these. I'm thinking maybe I'll make a new postcard to send out with orders every 6 months or 9 months or a year. And after a while, I'll have a big collection of postcard dungeons. Definitely check out the sale going on in my online shop. 25% off everything. There's no need for a coupon code or any of that. It's the first link down in the description. Go check out, find something you'll like, and get yourself a soggy ruins of Sentinel Keep. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. See ya!